Okay, third grade, welcome to day 2 of Foundations. Remember, this week, what is our focus? What's our focus? What are we learning about? Yes, prefixes. And remember, what is a prefix? A prefix is letter or letters that come at the beginning. That's the key. Beginning of a word, and it changes its meaning. Okay, notice I do not have an apostrophe in there because I wouldn't say it is meaning. It's meaning. So, we are going to talk about yesterday, or whenever you watch this video. And remember, on a prefix, you also have your base word, or it's sometimes called your root word. And remember, you can have a word that has both a prefix and a suffix. Unlike suffixes, where you can have 2 suffixes, you will not have 2 prefixes. Okay, so yesterday we talked about one of the most common ones, and one of the most common prefixes is un. And remember, un means not or the opposite. And some of the words that we used: unsafe, not safe, unhappy, not happy. Now, something else that you're going to notice with prefixes, and it's a little tricky. Some prefixes mean the exact same thing, but they're spelled with different letters. So, for example, the second prefix we're going to talk about today is the prefix dis, D-I-S. D-I-S also means not or the opposite. But I wouldn't say dis-safe. I'd say unsafe. I wouldn't say dis-happy. I say unhappy. So a lot of my kids always say, well, Mrs. Duskalakis, how do we know if I use dis or un? Well, there's no rule. The more you read, the more you speak, the more you listen to people talk, you'll know that we don't say, I'm dis-happy that I'm not in school. I'm dis-safe when I run across the street. No, you know that that doesn't sound right. However, if you don't like something, right? I don't say I unlike, I don't know, I pretty much like everything. I don't know, something that I don't like. Oh, roller coasters. I don't like roller coasters. I do not like roller coasters. Like is my base word. But I don't say I unlike roller coasters. I say I dislike roller coasters. Now, you do use the word un. You can say something is unlike. So, for example, if I want to say that, third grade, I'm sorry, this is getting blurry again. I'm going to do a little pause and come back to you. Okay, there we go, third grade. That should look better. You can say, for example, if I say, my sister is not like me. My sister is unlike me. Or the color white is unlike the color black. But if you don't like something to eat, you say dislike, not unlike. What if you're not being respectful to your mom? So your mom asks you to do something and you tell her no. You're being very rude. And they might say you're being disrespectful. You're not showing respect. So your base word is respect. You're not having respect. You're not full of it. So we add the suffix full. And we add the prefix dis. You are being disrespectful. So third grade, when you see a big long word like this, so many of you in reading, you just start making up stuff. You need to learn now. Remember, your teacher always tells you to look for the suffixes first, right? Well, now guess what? You're going to have to see if there's a prefix. So if you saw this big long word, you would say, oh, there's that suffix. But then you'd be like, ooh, I see a prefix. I remember that Mrs. Duskalike said that means not or the opposite. Then here's your base word. Respect. Disrespectful. You are not being respectful. You're being disrespectful. The opposite of respectful. Another word that you can add the prefix dis to is disconnect. So if you connect two pieces of string, you connect them. If you want to say they're not connected, or maybe you don't have good internet service, you got disconnected from the internet. I hear that a lot. I got disconnected from Zoom, right? So here's your suffix, ed, disconnected. Connect is your base word, and your prefix would be dis. I got disconnected. You wouldn't say I got unconnected. You would say I got disconnected. They both mean not or the opposite of. You need to be a good observer of language to figure out, do I use un or do I use dis? Unsafe, unhappy, unlike, meaning not similar, not the same. That's what unlike. Dislike, I don't like it. Disrespectful, disconnected. Let that sink in. Okay, so third grade, remember we were talking about prefixes that mean the same thing, right? We learned that un means not and the opposite of, like in the word unsafe or unhealthy. We also learned about the suffix dis. If you dislike something, I dislike roller coasters. Disconnect. I was disconnected. I was not connected to the internet. Un, not opposite of. Dis, not opposite of. Not safe, not healthy. Don't, I do not like, the opposite of like, not connected. There are a couple more that mean not. One is non. Non. N-O-N. So the prefix non means not. For example, if something is non-stop. If your little sister is bothering you non-stop, that means she's not stopping. If something is non-slip, a lot of times when you buy rugs for your bathroom, they will say that it has a non-slip surface. Now, this is not as common as un and dis. So if you're going to have a word and you want to say it's not, most likely you're going to use un or dis. However, you will see this prefix, non-stop, that's your base word, non-slip. there's also another group that means not. Ill, im, and in. In, ill, and im. Ill, there's not many words that use ill. There's one. Do you know that word? Legal. Legal. If something is illegal, it's not legal. What about this word using im? Do you know what that word is? Impolite. If you're impolite, you're not polite. And last word, in. My account was inactive. Active is my base word. In means not active. My grandmother was inactive. Do you know what this word is? It's a long one. Let's see if we can split it up. Here's our prefix, in, which means not. Con, sid, Now this is actually, it looks like it should be considerate, right? But it's a schwa, which we'll learn about in a couple weeks. Inconsiderate. If you're considerate, you consider other people's feelings. Inconsiderate means you're kind of rude and you really don't care about other people, so you're not considerate. So we learned some other prefixes that all mean not. Un and dis are the most common. You will see non, non-stop, non-slip. You will see ill, illegal, im, impolite, and in, inconsiderate. And they also all mean not. Okay, good job, third grade.